A major decision has just shaken the world of sports, and it's already sparking global debate. The International Olympic Committee, also known as the IOC, has announced strict new rules that will block transgender athletes from competing in women's sports at the Olympic level. And the key to this decision: a mandatory SRY gene test. This is a one-time genetic test designed to determine biological sex. And according to the IOC, it's all about one thing: fairness. The organization says the new policy will help protect the fairness, safety, and integrity of women's competitions, especially in elite sports where even the smallest advantage can decide who wins gold. IOC President Kirsty Coventry made the stance clear. She emphasized that while every athlete deserves dignity and respect, allowing biological males to compete in female categories could create unfair, and in some cases, unsafe, conditions. Now, this decision doesn't just impact future athletes. It also affects well-known names from recent Olympic history. For example, Laurel Hubbard, one of the first openly transgender athletes to compete at the Olympics, would no longer be eligible under these new rules. Although Hubbard has already retired, her case remains one of the most talked about moments in Olympic history. The new rules also bring renewed attention to athletes like Imane Khelif and Lin Yuting, who were at the center of gender eligibility controversies during the Paris 2024 Olympics. Khelif, who won gold, has repeatedly denied being transgender and has even said she is willing to take any test required to compete, while also warning that policies should protect women without harming other athletes. So clearly, this issue is not black and white. The SRY gene test itself is being described as simple and non-invasive, usually a cheek swab, saliva sample, or blood test. But despite that, not everyone agrees with the decision. Over 80 human rights and sports advocacy groups have already spoken out against mandatory sex testing, calling it controversial and potentially harmful. Still, the IOC has moved forward, and they're not alone. World Athletics had already introduced similar rules last year, making testing mandatory for female athletes in major competitions. Supporters of the new policy argue that it's a necessary step to ensure a level playing field, especially for female athletes who have trained their entire lives. Even public figures and former Olympians have shown support, calling it a long overdue move. But critics say it raises serious questions about inclusion, identity, and fairness in a modern world. Another important detail: these rules currently apply only to elite-level competitions like the Olympics, meaning grassroots and local sports may still follow different guidelines. So what does this mean for the future of sports? Is this the right move to protect competition, or a step backward in inclusivity? One thing is certain: this decision has opened one of the biggest debates in modern sports history, and the world is watching closely.